Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we'll continue from verse number 5 from Vaisnava Ke. What kind of devotee are you? It's a Bengali poem by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. The commentary is by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami, and extensive quotes are and verse translations are by His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat pripatamam vande Shri Gurum Deen Tarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. Verse 5. Harijana Dvesha Pratisthasha Klesha Karakena Tabe Tahar Gaurav Vaishnavera Pache Pratisthasha Ache Tate Kabhu Nahe Anitya Vaibhav. So, the word by word meaning for this verse goes like this. Harijan Dvesh, hatred for the devotees of the Lord. Pratisthasha, desire for material fame and position. Klesha, suffering. Kara, do. Kena, why. Tabe, then. Tahar, its. Gaurav, feel pride. Vaishnavera, Pache, falling behind the Vaishnav. Pratisthasha, desire for spiritual position. Ache, there is. Tate, in that. Kabhu, nahe, never. Anitya, impermanent. Vaibhav, wealth. Translation. My dear mind, what kind of Vaishnav are you? In the name of solitary worship, you are simply engaged in criticizing and committing offenses against the Vaishnavas. You have become envious towards the pure devotees of the Lord Krishna. Instead of tasting the nectar of being a real Vaishnav, you are simply suffering due to your desire to gain flickering material prestige and position. Then, in spite of your fallen condition, why do you remain so proud of your solitary worship? Now, you should try to be a real Vaishnav. To be a pure devotee of Krishna is actually the most glorious position anyone can achieve. If you really desire to achieve perfection, then give up this practice of solitary worship and in the association of devotees practice pure unmotivated devotional service. In the sincere practice of pure devotional service, there is no influence of Maya. Purport. The mind must be controlled and made to act as a friend who helps one to advance on the path of Krishna realization. When the uncontrolled mind becomes infatuated with the desire for attaining egotistic prominence even within the society of devotees, it immediately becomes dissatisfied. Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Ateva Shanta Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakali Ashanta. Because a devotee of Lord Krishna is desireless, he is peaceful. Fruitive workers desire material enjoyment, jnanis desire liberation, and yogis desire material opulence. Therefore, they are all lusty and cannot be peaceful. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya-lila, chapter 19, verse 149. If even after renouncing desire for gross sense gratification and fruitive activity, a devotee becomes careless and is swayed by desire for superficial importance and material position, he immediately feels dissatisfaction. Although this dissatisfaction alone is certainly the cause of untold suffering, should he, under pressure from his materialistic desires, grow envious of exalted souls, his situation becomes especially dangerous. In this way, the uncontrolled mind leads him from material suffering to actively offending the Vaishnavas, and he proceeds along the royal road to destruction. Trividham narkasedam dvaram nashanam atmanah kamah krodhas tatha lobhas tasmad etat trayam tyajet. There are three gates leading to this hell: lust, anger, and greed. Every sane man should give these up, for they lead to the degradation of the soul. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16, verse 21. Abhisandhaya yo himsam dambham matsaryam evava samarambhi bhinna drig bhavam mai kuryat sa tamasah. Devotional service executed by a person who is envious, proud, violent, and angry, and who is separatist, is considered to be in the mode of darkness. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 29, verse 8. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore warned that offending a Vaishnava is the gravest error one can commit. If the devotee commits an offense at the feet of Vaishnava while cultivating the creeper of devotional service in the material world, his offense is compared to a mad elephant that uproots the creeper and breaks it. In this way, the leaves of the creeper wither and dry up. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 19, verse 156. When a devotee living in a Vaishnava society becomes infatuated with material desires, Krishna mercifully subjects him to circumstances and lessons in order to instruct and protect him. In order to properly receive such instructions from senior Vaishnavas and to understand that such situations are due to the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, a devotee should always chant Hare Krishna in a humble state of mind as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu enjoins. Trinadapi sunechena taror api sahishnuna amanina mandena kirtaniya sada ari. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than a straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Verse 3 from Sri Shikshashtaka. Rather than showing humility and accepting the truth of the situation, the mind, infatuated with the desire to achieve importance, imagines no wrong in its envious attitude towards the real devotees of the Lord, and even reacts with false pride when shown that its approach is mistaken. This pride is a symptom of falling down from spiritual life. Therefore, a devotee should be very careful to train his mind to avoid this dangerous outlook and learn instead to be humble and sincere. Shunning material ambition, however, does not mean that one must be desireless. Desires are not absent in devotional service, but they are purified in the fire of transcendental knowledge. In other words, one should desire to be a servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. The pure desire to attain this most exalted position contains within it multifarious activities for one's upliftment. To achieve the mercy of Lord Krishna, one must be fixed in a constant endeavor to execute the various activities of devotional service. That desire and the subsequent activities involved in achieving the goal of pure devotional service does not have even the slightest tinge of material contamination. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is eternal. He is possessed of unlimited transcendental qualities and is surrounded by transcendental associates and paraphernalia. Devotional service of the Lord, or even the desire to achieve the position of devotional service following in the footsteps of authorized devotees, is purely situated on the transcendental platform. The expert transcendentalist, by fixing his mind on the transcendental platform through properly focusing on engaging in the devotional service of the Lord, is surely successful in this life in his practice of Krishna consciousness. Since devotional service is the highest perfection, the intelligence can pacify the mind from its natural proclivity of desiring insignificant material objects, including material fame and position. The Chaitanya Charitamrita instructs a devotee how to fix his mind on the absolute truth. Eta parama phala parama purushartha yanra age trina tulya Chari Purusharth. To taste the fruit of devotional service at Golok Vrindavan is the highest perfection of life, and in the presence of such perfection, the four material perfections, religion, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation, are very insignificant achievements. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 19, verse 164. So with this, we come to the end of verse number 5. Thank you for joining. Hariam Tat Sat. Hare Krishna.